Officer Maria Santos forces her shoulder against the apartment door one more time. The wood splinters. The door swings open. The smell hits her first. Then the silence. Then something else. Something that makes her 20 years on the force feel like nothing. A whisper. So faint she almost imagines it. Mom. Elena Martinez is lying on a couch that has become her entire world. Her lips are cracked. Her fingertips are blue. Dark stains cover the cushions beneath her. But she's breathing. Elena's eyes flutter open. They're sunken, hollow, but when she sees the uniform, something sparks. Is Jessica safe? She whispers. Officer Santos freezes. Elena Martinez, lying in conditions no human should endure, asks about someone else. Someone who should have been there. Someone who wasn't. Miles away, a phone buzzes on a marble nightstand. 847 missed calls light up the screen. The phone belongs to a 16-year-old girl who's been living in paradise. Paradise that's about to become hell. But how did we get here? How does a mother end up abandoned? How does a daughter end up so far from home? The answers will shock you. Before I tell you this story, I need you to do something. Hit that subscribe button. Ring the notification bell. Because what you're about to witness will challenge everything you think you know about family, about love, and about how far people will go when they're desperate. You're going to meet Elena Martinez, a woman who gave up everything for her child. You're going to meet Jessica Martinez, a 16-year-old who made a choice that almost destroyed them both. And you're going to discover that sometimes the most broken stories have the most beautiful endings. But first, we need to go back. Back to where this all began. A quiet morning in a small apartment where a mother and daughter are about to face the biggest test of their lives. Neither of them knows it yet. Elena Martinez sits in her wheelchair, watching morning light filter through cheap blinds. She's been awake since before dawn, like always. Old nursing habits. She used to save lives during these early hours. Now she counts the minutes until her daughter wakes up. Footsteps in the hallway. Jessica's getting ready for school. Elena smiles. It's the same smile she's worn every morning for 3 years, ever since the accident changed everything. The same smile that hides the pain, the exhaustion, the crushing weight of depending on someone else for everything. Someone who's getting tired of carrying that weight. Morning, Mija, Elena calls out. A mumbled response from the other room. Elena doesn't know that Jessica hasn't been going to school. She doesn't know about the messages on Jessica's phone. The promises being made by someone far away. The plan that's already in motion. She doesn't know that her daughter is about to leave her to die. Have a good day, sweetheart. The front door closes, and Elena Martinez begins the most dangerous week of her life. What happened next will haunt you. But what happened after will restore your faith in humanity. This is their story. 3 years earlier, Elena Martinez was untouchable. Emergency room nurse at Riverside General Hospital. Steady hands that never shook. The nurse other nurses called when things got bad. She made $60,000 a year and owned a Honda Civic she kept spotless. Jessica was 13 then. Honor roll student. Soccer player. A kid who never doubted that her mom could fix anything. Life was hard, but it was theirs. Then came the drunk driver. T-boned Elena's Honda as she drove home from her shift. The car that kept her mobile became the prison that stole her legs. Spinal cord injury. Permanent paralysis. Wheelchair dependent. The settlement money lasted 18 months. When it ran out, everything else started disappearing. First the car, then the savings. Then Elena's grandmother's wedding ring. Jessica watched it all happen. Watched their world shrink from a 3-bedroom house to a cramped apartment. Watched her mother transform from the woman who saved lives to someone who couldn't save herself from falling out of bed. I'm sorry, Mija. Elena would whisper on the bad days. I'm so sorry this happened to us. But Jessica stopped hearing apologies. She started hearing chains. Every canceled plan. Every missed party. Every time her friends asked why she couldn't come over and she had to lie. The resentment grew like a tumor. Quiet at first, then harder to ignore. That's when the messages started. Instagram DMs from someone called Marcus the CEO. Expensive cars. Designer watches. You're too beautiful to be stuck at home. His first message read. Your mom would want you to be happy, right? Jessica stared at that message for 20 minutes. She looked at Elena, asleep in her wheelchair because it hurt too much to move to the couch. She looked at the medical bills piling up. She saw someone she didn't recognize in the TV's black screen. Someone trapped. I need to get out of here, she typed back. That's all Marcus needed to hear. Daily messages followed. Miami beaches, penthouse pools, stories about cryptocurrency millions. I'm only 19, but I figured out the system. I can show you how to break free. What Jessica didn't know was that Elena was working on something too. Late nights when Jessica thought she was sleeping, Elena was coding, teaching herself programming on YouTube, building an app for families dealing with disability. Beta testing showed incredible demand. Elena's lawyer said they were looking at $2 million at launch, enough to give Jessica everything Elena couldn't provide: college tuition, a car, freedom. Elena planned to surprise Jessica on her 17th birthday in 2 months. But Jessica didn't know about any of that. All Jessica knew was Marcus whispering in her ear. 1 week in Miami. Private jets. 5-star hotels. You deserve this. I can't leave my mom alone. Just 1 week. What's the worst that could happen? Monday morning arrives. Elena makes coffee, proud of these small independent tasks. Morning, Mija, she calls. Jessica appears, already dressed, carrying a small suitcase. I'm staying at Sarah's house this weekend. School project. Elena nods, smiles. She's learned not to ask too many questions. That's nice, sweetheart. Jessica's phone buzzes. Marcus, car's outside. You ready for paradise? For just a second, Jessica hesitates. She remembers being 13, feeling safe in Elena's arms. Then she remembers prom dress shopping alone because Elena's wheelchair couldn't fit in the narrow aisles. She remembers graduation next month, where Elena will sit separate from everyone else in accessible seating. I'll be back Sunday night, Jessica says. She doesn't kiss Elena goodbye. She doesn't hug her. She just leaves. Elena watches a black car pull away. She waves, but the windows are too dark to see if Jessica waves back. Sunday comes and goes. Jessica doesn't come home. Elena calls Jessica's phone. Straight to voicemail. She calls Sarah's house. Jessica? No, Sarah's been here all weekend. Elena feels ice in her chest. She calls the school. Jessica hasn't been to class in 2 weeks. The police dismiss her concerns. 16-year-olds run away sometimes. They usually come back when they get hungry. But Elena finds Jessica's Instagram. Photos from Miami. Bikinis by infinity pools. Champagne glasses. Designer sunglasses. The captions make her heart stop. Finally free. Living my best life. No looking back. Days pass. Elena starts rationing medication. Missing appointments. The apartment feels smaller, the walls closer. She hasn't spoken to another human in 4 days. Jessica, she calls out, knowing no one will answer. Mija, are you home? Her voice echoes in emptiness. What Elena doesn't know is that Jessica's fantasy is about to shatter. That men in dark suits will storm her paradise. That in 48 hours, Jessica will finally understand what she's done. And Elena will be fighting for her life. While Elena whispers Jessica's name to empty air, Jessica is posing for her morning selfie 3,000 miles away. Infinity pool behind her, Miami skyline gleaming like diamonds. Day 1 of living my truth, she captions the photo. Sometimes you have to choose yourself. The likes start pouring in immediately. Strangers from around the world double tapping her manufactured happiness. Comments flood the post. You look amazing. Living the dream. I wish I had your life. Jessica screenshots the numbers. 2,847 likes in the first hour. More attention than she's ever received in her entire life. She feels intoxicating power in those little red hearts. Each one validation that she made the right choice. Each one proof that Elena was holding her back from becoming who she was meant to be. Meanwhile, Elena can't reach her morning medication. Jessica usually sets the bottles on the coffee table where Elena can grab them from her wheelchair. Today they're still in the kitchen cabinet, 8 feet away and impossibly high. Elena wheels herself as close as she can get, stretches her arm until her shoulder aches, fingertips barely brushing the cabinet door. She tries backing up, building momentum, rolling forward fast enough to reach higher. The wheelchair catches on the kitchen mat. Elena pitches forward, nearly falling face first onto the linoleum. She catches herself on the counter edge, heart pounding, realizing how easily she could have cracked her skull open. How long she might have laid there before someone found her. Hours. Days. Maybe longer. Elena manages to knock the pill bottle off the counter with a wooden spoon. It shatters on the floor, tablets scattering like confetti. She salvages what she can, checking each pill for glass fragments before swallowing them dry. Her morning dose is now mixed with kitchen floor grime, but it's what she has. Jessica posts a video of room service breakfast on bone china. Strawberries cut into perfect roses. Coffee in cups that cost more than Elena's monthly grocery budget. When you realize you've been living small, Jessica narrates to the camera. Sometimes you have to bet on yourself. The video gets shared 847 times. Jessica's follower count climbs past 15,000. She's gone viral, and the rush is better than any drug. She films herself trying on designer clothes Marcus bought her. Dresses that cost more than Elena's disability check. Shoes that could pay their rent for 2 months. Fashion haul. Jessica squeals to her phone. Thank you, universe, for this beautiful life. She doesn't mention Marcus in the videos. Doesn't show his face. Something tells her to keep him mysterious. But Marcus is always there, watching her perform for the camera with eyes that make her skin crawl when she catches him in the right light. He's not touching her the way she expected. Not romantic like the movies. Instead, he films her sometimes without asking. Studies her like she's an experiment. You're getting famous, he tells her, scrolling through her comments. Famous girls make money. Real money. Jessica nods, but something feels wrong. She pushes the feeling down, focuses on the numbers climbing on her phone. Back home, Elena has run out of clean clothes. Jessica usually helps with laundry. The washer and dryer are in the basement, accessible only by stairs Elena cannot navigate. Elena wears the same shirt 3 days in a row. She spot cleans stains with wet paper towels, hopes no one notices. But no one's coming to notice anyway. Mrs. Rodriguez from next door hears the washing machine silent for days longer than usual. She almost knocks on Elena's door, almost asks if everything's okay. But she's heard arguing through the walls lately. Mother and daughter voices raised in anger. She doesn't want to interfere in family business. Mrs. Rodriguez turns her television volume higher instead. Drowns out whatever might be happening next door. Jessica hits 25,000 followers. Posts a video of herself crying happy tears. I never imagined this life was possible for someone like me. She sobs prettily into the camera. If you're stuck somewhere you don't want to be, please know it gets better. You just have to have the courage to leave. The comments section explodes with support. Hundreds of people sharing their own stories of escape. Jessica feels like an inspiration. A beacon of hope for trapped people everywhere. She's never felt more important in her life. Elena hasn't showered in 4 days. The bathroom transfer requires upper body strength she's losing from poor nutrition. She's been eating crackers and peanut butter, food she can reach and prepare without help. Her appetite has disappeared anyway. Food tastes like cardboard. Water tastes metallic. Everything reminds her that Jessica's gone. Elena tries to distract herself with her coding project. The app is so close to completion. She's been beta testing with focus groups, getting incredible feedback. Parents crying with relief that someone finally understands their struggles. Venture capitalists calling with numbers that sound like fantasies. $2.3 million for the first round of funding. Elena could buy a house. An accessible house with ramps and roll-in showers and kitchen counters built for wheelchairs. She could hire help so Jessica wouldn't have to be her caregiver anymore. Jessica could be her daughter again, instead of her nurse. Elena works on the app until her eyes burn, until her fingers cramp from typing. It's the only thing that makes her feel useful. The only reminder that she's more than just a burden waiting to die. Jessica's follower count hits 40,000. She posts an inspirational quote over a sunset photo. Your family might not understand your dreams, but that doesn't make them less valid. Sometimes love means letting go. Elena sees the post. Reads it 17 times. Wonders if Jessica means her. If this is Jessica's way of saying goodbye forever. Elena opens her diary, the one she's kept since the accident. Pages and pages of fears and hopes and love letters to a daughter who doesn't want to hear them. She writes, Jessica looks so happy in her photos. Maybe I was wrong to need her so much. Maybe she's better off without me dragging her down. I just wish she could see what I built for us. What we could have together. The app launches next month. We could travel anywhere. Do anything. But she's already free, isn't she? Maybe that's enough. Maybe her happiness is worth my loneliness. Elena closes the diary, tucks it beside her wheelchair cushion. She doesn't know that in 2 days, police will read those words and feel their hearts break. She doesn't know that her diary will become evidence of the most selfless love story they've ever witnessed. Marcus starts demanding more from Jessica. More provocative photos. Videos with less clothing. Your audience wants authenticity, he tells her. They want to see the real you. But Jessica notices Marcus isn't posting his own content anymore. He's focused entirely on managing her account, on monetizing her newfound fame. She's becoming his product, and she's starting to realize it. I want to call my mom, Jessica says one night, staring at her phone. Marcus takes it from her hands. You're building something here. Don't let old guilt destroy new opportunities. Jessica nods, but her stomach twists. She's hit 50,000 followers. She's internet famous. So why does she feel so empty? Back home, Elena's voice has gotten weaker. She's been calling Jessica's name every morning out of habit, but the sound barely carries across the apartment anymore. Her throat stays dry no matter how much water she drinks. Which isn't much, because getting to the kitchen sink has become a monumental task. Elena starts keeping a cup of water next to her wheelchair, rationing sips throughout the day. She measures her remaining strength in units of liquid. 1 cup lasts 2 days now. Elena's fingernails have grown long, dirty. She can't reach the clippers Jessica usually uses to trim them. When she tries to transfer from wheelchair to couch, her nails catch on the upholstery, leaving long scratches in the leather. Desperate marks that look like claw marks. Evidence of Elena's daily struggle to exist in a world built for people who can walk. Jessica posts a video of herself dancing on a yacht. The ocean stretches endlessly behind her. Freedom in every direction. This is what happiness looks like, she tells her followers. This is what happens when you stop making excuses and start making moves. But that night, alone in the penthouse bedroom, Jessica dreams about Elena. Dreams about coming home to find her mother fallen out of her wheelchair, calling for help that never comes. Jessica wakes up crying and reaches for her phone to call home. Then she sees her follower count, 67,000, the highest it's ever been. She puts the phone down and goes back to sleep. What Jessica doesn't know is that Marcus isn't who he claims to be. The cryptocurrency fortune is stolen money. The penthouse belongs to someone else. The private jets are borrowed for Instagram photos, then returned before anyone notices. Marcus Chun isn't a successful entrepreneur. He's a 19-year-old con artist who's been running the same scam on lonely girls for months. And tomorrow, his lies catch up with him. Tomorrow, Elena's diary entry gets its terrible, beautiful answer. Tomorrow, empires built on deception come crashing down, and Jessica learns what it really costs to abandon someone who loves you unconditionally. But tonight, Elena sits in her wheelchair in a dark apartment, whispering to ghosts, while her daughter dances for strangers who will never love her the way her mother does. The FBI has been watching Marcus Chin for 3 months. Not because of Jessica, not because of Instagram. Because elderly people across 7 states have been losing their life savings to his cryptocurrency schemes. Margaret Patterson from Ohio, 73 years old, lost her entire pension believing Marcus could triple her retirement fund. David Kim from Texas, 81 years old with early dementia, handed over his grandson's college fund because Marcus convinced him it was a guaranteed investment. Dozens of victims, millions of dollars, all traced back to the teenager with gold chains and empty promises. Special Agent Sarah Kim has been building the case methodically. Bank records, wire transfers, victim testimonies. Marcus thought he was untouchable, but the FBI had been inside his operation for weeks. They'd been watching his social media too. Watching him parade stolen money like earned success. Watching him recruit new victims through romance and manipulation. Watching Jessica dance in clothes bought with Margaret Patterson's pension. The penthouse isn't Marcus's. It belongs to Richard Sterling, a tech executive who's been out of the country for 6 months. Marcus found the listing, made fake documents, convinced the doorman he was Sterling's nephew house sitting. Everything about Marcus's life is performance, just like Jessica's. The difference is Jessica doesn't know she's performing in a criminal operation. She thinks this is real love, real success, real freedom. Marcus knows exactly what it is. Theft. Agent Kim gets the call from her supervisor at 4 in the morning. We move today. Sterling's flying back from Singapore. We need Chun in custody before the homeowner shows up and our surveillance location gets blown. The team assembles in unmarked vans 3 blocks from the penthouse. 12 agents, bulletproof vests, battering ram ready. They've done this hundreds of times, but Agent Kim feels something different about this one. Maybe it's the Instagram account she's been monitoring. The girl who looks so young, so desperate for attention. The girl who has no idea she's about to lose everything. Remember, there's a minor on scene. Agent Kim tells her team. 16-year-old female, possible victim of manipulation. Handle with care. But Agent Kim doesn't know about Elena yet. Doesn't know there's another victim 3,000 miles away, dying slowly while her daughter performs for strangers. That knowledge comes later, when Jessica's phone reveals the truth that destroys everyone. Jessica wakes up to Marcus pacing the penthouse, talking rapidly into his phone. His voice sounds different. Panicked. The smooth confidence she's come to expect is cracking. No, they can't have the account numbers. Those are encrypted. They can't prove anything. Jessica sits up in the designer bed, confused. Who can't prove what? Marcus waves her quiet, keeps talking. Move the money to Singapore. All of it. Now. Jessica's stomach drops. She's heard enough crime shows to recognize this conversation. Marcus isn't talking about legitimate business. He's talking about hiding money. Running. Marcus, what's happening? He hangs up, turns to her with eyes she's never seen before. Cold. Calculating. The mask slipping completely. Pack your stuff. We're leaving. Leaving? But I just hit 70,000 followers. My engagement is through the roof. I was going to do a Q&A live stream this morning. Forget the fucking live stream. Marcus shouts, and Jessica flinches. He's never raised his voice to her before. Never let the pretty facade drop. We need to go? Now. Jessica's hands shake as she reaches for her phone. Something is very wrong, and she needs to document it. Her followers deserve to know what's happening. She opens Instagram Live without thinking. Good morning, beautiful people, she says to the camera, trying to sound normal while her world tilts off its axis. We're having a little drama this morning, but nothing we can't handle. The viewer count climbs rapidly. 847 people watching live. Then 1,200. Then 3,000. Jessica feels the familiar rush of attention, the drug that makes everything else fade away. Even fear. Marcus doesn't notice she's streaming. He's too busy destroying evidence. Throwing documents into the fireplace. Wiping hard drives. Smashing phones against the marble counter. Marcus is being super mysterious this morning. Jessica tells her audience, trying to make it sound playful. Boys and their secrets, right? The comments pour in. Girl, get out of there. This looks sketchy. Call someone. But Jessica doesn't see the warnings. She sees the viewer count hitting 4,500 people. The biggest audience she's ever had. This drama is going viral, and she's the star of her own reality show. That's when the door explodes inward. FBI agents flood the penthouse like black water, shouting commands that make Jessica's ears ring. FBI, get on the ground. Hands where we can see them. Jessica screams, but doesn't stop streaming. 4,500 people watch her get thrown to the marble floor. Watch agents point guns at her head. Watch her designer paradise become a crime scene in real time. Oh my God, this is really happening. She sobs into the phone camera. This is ruining my content. This is ruining everything. Agent Kim hears those words and feels sick to her stomach. A 16-year-old girl is having her life destroyed on live stream, and she's worried about content, about followers, about maintaining the performance even while handcuffed on the floor. Turn off the phone. Agent Kim orders gently. Sweetheart, turn off the phone. No, my followers need to see this. They need to know I'm being treated unfairly. This is police brutality. Agent Kim takes the phone, ends the live stream. Jessica screams like Agent Kim just cut off her oxygen supply. You can't do that. That's my platform. Those are MY followers. Marcus doesn't fight, doesn't run, doesn't scream about police brutality or ruined content. He just lies face down on the marble floor, hands cuffed behind his back, smiling. You got nothing, he tells Agent Kim. I'm 19 years old. Juvenile system. I'll be out in 2 years. We'll see about that, Agent Kim replies. She's seen criminals underestimate the justice system before. Marcus won't be smiling when he learns about Margaret Patterson's suicide attempt. About David Kim's stroke brought on by the stress of losing everything. About the 73 other victims whose lives Marcus shattered for Instagram props. But Agent Kim's focus shifts when she scrolls through Jessica's phone. When she sees Elena's missed calls. 847 of them over 7 days. When she reads the desperate text messages. Mija, please call me. I'm worried about you. Are you safe? Please just let me know you're alive. Agent Kim's blood runs cold. Jessica, where is your mother right now? Jessica looks up from the floor, mascara streaming down her cheeks. Home. What? When did you last speak to her? I don't know. Last week sometime. She's fine. She's always fine. Agent Kim exchanges glances with her partner. Something is very wrong. Jessica, does your mother have any medical conditions? Any reason she might need regular check-ins? She's in a wheelchair, Jessica says, like it's no big deal. But she's used to being alone. She's independent. Agent Kim's heart stops. 7 days. A disabled woman alone for 7 days with a daughter who's been posting Paralyzed photos while ignoring 847 desperate phone calls. We need units to Riverside, California immediately, Agent Kim radios. Possible adult abandonment. Medical emergency likely. Jessica finally stops thinking about her follower count. Finally realizes this isn't about her content anymore. What do you mean medical emergency? My mom is fine. She has to be fine. But even as she says it, Jessica remembers things she's been pushing out of her mind. Elena's weak voice on their last phone call. How thin she looked the morning Jessica left. The way Elena's hands shook when she tried to reach the coffee pot. She's fine. Jessica screams at Agent Kim, but she's really screaming at herself. At the growing certainty that nothing is fine. That nothing has been fine for 7 days. That while she was dancing for strangers, her mother was dying alone. The phone call comes 20 minutes later. Agent Kim listens to the report, her face growing paler with each word. She hangs up and looks at Jessica with something between pity and disgust. Your mother is alive, she says quietly. But barely. Jessica's world stops spinning. The marble floor, the handcuffs, the destroyed penthouse, Marcus bleeding from his split lip, all of it fades into background noise. What does that mean? It means, Agent Kim says, that you almost killed the person who loves you most. It means we got here just in time to save both of you. Though I'm not sure you deserve saving. Jessica starts crying then. Not pretty tears for the camera. Ugly, body-shaking sobs that come from the deepest part of her soul. The part that still remembers being 13 and feeling safe in Elena's arms. The part that knows, has always known, that Elena would die before letting anything happen to her daughter. And Jessica almost let Elena die for Instagram followers. For strangers who don't even know her real name. For numbers on a screen that mean nothing compared to the woman who gave up everything to keep Jessica safe. I want to go home, Jessica whispers. I want to see my mom. You will, Agent Kim says. In court, where you'll explain to a judge why a disabled woman nearly died while you danced on yachts. The plane ride back to California takes 5 hours. Jessica stares out the window the entire time, watching clouds and thinking about Elena alone in their apartment. Elena trying to reach her medication. Elena calling Jessica's name to empty rooms. Elena writing in her diary about the app that was supposed to save them both. The app Jessica knew nothing about because she never bothered to ask what Elena did during those late nights at the computer. She assumed Elena was watching TV or playing solitaire. She never imagined Elena was building their future while Jessica planned her escape. The courtroom is packed with reporters. Jessica's arrest went viral. Not the way she wanted, but viral nonetheless. Everyone wants to see the Instagram girl who abandoned her disabled mother for followers. Everyone wants to watch her fall from grace in real time. Judge Patricia Hernandez has been on the bench for 22 years. She's seen every kind of family tragedy, every form of human cruelty and stupidity. But when she reads Jessica's case file, when she sees the Instagram posts timestamped against Elena's medical decline, she has to excuse herself to the bathroom to throw up. Jessica Martinez, Judge Hernandez says when court reconvenes, you are charged with 5 felony counts. Dependent adult abuse causing great bodily harm. Grand theft of disability benefits. Criminal negligence resulting in serious injury. Elder abandonment. And conspiracy to commit fraud. Jessica's lawyer, a public defender who looks younger than Jessica, whispers that she could serve until age 21 if convicted on all counts. 5 years in juvenile detention. Jessica nods, but doesn't really hear. All she can think about is Elena's face the morning she left. How Elena smiled and waved from the window. How Elena never once made Jessica feel guilty for leaving, even though Elena must have known something was wrong. How do you plead? Judge Hernandez asks. Jessica looks at the courtroom full of strangers. At the reporters typing notes about her downfall. Mark is sitting at the defendant's table in orange jail scrubs, no longer the golden boy with promises of paradise. She thinks about her 67,000 followers, most of whom have already unfollowed her since the arrest footage leaked. She thinks about the app Elena built to help families like theirs. The app that could have changed everything if Jessica had bothered to stick around long enough to learn about it. Guilty, she whispers. The courtroom erupts. Reporters shout questions. Camera flashes pop like fireworks. But Jessica doesn't see any of it. She sees Elena's face. Elena asking if Jessica is safe while dying alone on a couch. Elena still loving her daughter more than her own life. Even after Jessica proved she wasn't worth that love. Judge Hernandez bangs her gavel for order. When the room finally quiets, she leans forward and speaks directly to Jessica. You traded your mother's life for likes from strangers. You valued the attention of people who don't know your name over the love of the woman who gave you life. How do you live with yourself? Jessica looks up, mascara streaked, designer clothes wrinkled, all her Instagram glamour stripped away to reveal the scared 16-year-old underneath. I don't know yet, Your Honor, but I want to learn. Judge Hernandez stares at her for a long moment. Something in Jessica's voice, something broken and real, makes the judge pause. That answer, Judge Hernandez says slowly, might be the first honest thing you've said in this courtroom. Jessica nods, tears falling onto her shackled hands. Your Honor, may I ask about my mother? Is she okay? Your mother, Judge Hernandez replies, is recovering, and she's been asking about you every day, still worried about your safety while she's in the hospital because of your choices. Jessica breaks down completely then, sobs that shake her whole body. The sound of someone finally, truly understanding what they've done, what they've lost, what they might never get back. But Judge Hernandez sees something else in Jessica's tears, something that gives her hope. Sentencing is set for next month. Use that time to think about who you want to be when you grow up. Because, Jessica, you're going to grow up in state custody. The question is whether you grow up to be someone your mother can be proud of. Jessica is led away in handcuffs. But for the first time since this nightmare began, she's not thinking about cameras or followers or content. She's thinking about Elena. About the woman who loved her enough to forgive the unforgivable. About the second chance she doesn't deserve but desperately wants to earn. That answer, those words about wanting to learn, echo through the courtroom long after Jessica disappears through the defendant's door. No one knows it yet, but those words are about to change everything. The juvenile detention center in Riverside smells like disinfectant and despair. Jessica's cell is 8 feet by 10 feet. Metal bed, cold water sink. Walls covered in scratches from hundreds of other teenagers who made the worst decisions of their lives. Jessica sits staring at her hands, the same hands that used to hold champagne glasses while her mother lay dying. Her cellmate Maria recognizes the look in Jessica's eyes. You keep crying in your sleep, calling for your mama. Jessica doesn't answer. She's been here 3 weeks, speaking less than 10 words to anyone. The other girls know her story. The Instagram influencer who abandoned her disabled mother. They whisper in the cafeteria, point in the recreation yard. Jessica doesn't care what they think. She cares about the unopened letter from Elena on her bedside table. Too terrified to read it. Too scared to learn that Elena hates her now. You should read it, Maria says gently. Not knowing is worse. Jessica shakes her head. She's not ready. May never be ready. That afternoon, Jessica's lawyer visits with news that makes her stomach drop. Your mother has petitioned the court for visitation rights. She wants to see you. No, Jessica whispers. I can't face her. But Elena Martinez has never been stopped by her daughter's protests. 2 days later, a guard tells Jessica she has a visitor. Elena drove 6 hours despite doctor's orders. Jessica's legs shake as she walks to the visitation room. Elena looks fragile as paper. Thinner, grayer, clothes hanging loose. But when she sees Jessica through the reinforced glass, her face transforms. She smiles. The same smile she wore every morning. Mija, Elena whispers into the phone. My beautiful girl. Jessica breaks down completely. I'm sorry, Mama. I almost killed you. I left you to die. Elena's eyes fill with tears, but her voice stays steady. You're alive. That's all that matters. You're still my daughter. I don't deserve to be your daughter. Listen to me, Elena says firmly. You made a terrible mistake. But you're 16 years old, and you have 60 more years to make better choices. I love you more than my own life. Nothing will change that. Elena explains about the app she was building, the coding she taught herself, the platform for families dealing with disability. The venture capital offers worth millions. I was going to tell you on your 17th birthday. We were going to be rich enough to hire help so you could be my daughter instead of my caregiver. Jessica stares in horror. I threw that away for Instagram likes. No, Elena says calmly. You threw away money. We can rebuild money. You didn't throw away us. Elena visits twice a week, bringing her laptop. I want to teach you to code. We can build this together. It starts slowly. Jessica enrolls in the computer programming class, mostly to make Elena happy. But something magical happens when she starts learning HTML. For the first time in months, her mind goes quiet. The anxiety, the guilt, the voices telling her she's worthless, all of it fades when she's writing code. Elena guides her through video calls. Other girls notice Jessica's transformation. Maria Santos asks to join. Then Carmen, then Ashley. Soon Elena is teaching computer class through reinforced glass to 6 teenage girls who never imagined they'd be learning to code in juvie. They create a website for families dealing with criminal justice issues. Elena realizes they've stumbled onto something powerful. These girls understand trauma in ways no one else could. When you get out, we should start a nonprofit together, Elena tells Jessica. Why would you want to work with me after everything I did? Because you understand what it feels like to lose everything. That makes you perfect to help others find their way back. Judge Hernandez visits before Jessica's release hearing. Jessica has been in detention 8 months. She looks different, healthier, calmer, focused instead of desperate for attention. Tell me about the coding program, the judge says. Jessica explains the website, the families they've helped, the app Elena's developing. We want to start a nonprofit, the 7 Days Foundation, named after the 7 days I abandoned my mom. Your mother believes in you. Do you believe in yourself? Jessica thinks carefully. I'm learning to. My mom is teaching me that I'm more than my worst mistake. Judge Hernandez smiles. That might be the wisest thing anyone said in my courtroom in 20 years. At the release hearing, Elena sits in the courtroom. Her app has launched, helped over 10,000 families. She's now worth $3 million. More importantly, she's a mother who chose forgiveness over resentment. Jessica Martinez, Judge Hernandez announces, you have served 8 months of a 5-year sentence. I am reducing your remaining sentence to supervised probation until age 25. You will complete 2,000 hours of community service with disabled adults and families affected by criminal justice involvement. Jessica nods, tears streaming. Not self-pity this time. Gratitude. Hope. I want to thank you for giving me the chance to become someone my mother can be proud of. Elena wheels forward. She already is. She's always been someone I'm proud of. She just needed time to see it herself. The 7 Days Foundation becomes official 6 months later. Elena handles business. Jessica manages technology and outreach. They help families navigate disability services, provide resources for teenagers in criminal justice, offer coding classes for at-risk youth. The app now serves over 100,000 families worldwide. Even Marcus contributes from federal prison, teaching financial literacy and donating commissary earnings to their foundation. Elena and Jessica appear together on stages across the country, not as victim and perpetrator anymore, as partners, as proof that broken relationships can heal stronger than before. Jessica spent 7 days running from responsibility. Elena tells audiences, I spent 7 days dying from abandonment. But we've spent years learning that love is stronger than our worst mistakes. Jessica speaks too. I traded my mother's life for Instagram followers, for attention from strangers who didn't know my name. But my mom taught me I'm worth more than my worst day, that I can build something meaningful from my biggest regret. Jessica is 21 now, still on probation. She could have her record expunged when her sentence ends, but she's keeping it. The criminal record reminds her and others that people can change. Elena is 48 and thriving. She wants Jessica not as caregiver this time, but as partner, as daughter who chose to stay instead of being trapped. People ask if I forgave Jessica immediately. Elena explains in interviews. Forgiveness wasn't something I did once. It was something I chose every day. Every morning, I decided to love my daughter more than I resented her choices. Jessica's perspective evolved too. I used to think my mom's disability ruined my life. Now I understand it gave me purpose. Without our trauma, we never would have built something that helps so many people. Elena Martinez spent 7 days dying for her daughter. Jessica Martinez spent 5 years learning to live for her mother. Together, they proved that love really can conquer anything, even abandonment, even betrayal. 7 days of darkness became a lifetime of light, and that light keeps shining for everyone brave enough to believe that redemption is always possible, forgiveness is always available, and love is always stronger than our worst mistakes.